Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Aquarius September 2020 Must Knows. The first thing that you must know this month is that we have a big cleanup going on in the stars. We've got a lot of energy in Virgo, plus we have the most harmonious aspect in all of astrology, the trine. We've got Virgo aspects in a trine formation, 6 of them. 6 beautiful aspects combining with fellow earth sign in Capricorn, and this is going to give great opportunities for amazing manifestations and big cleaning up in every area of your life, but especially the areas of life that are highlighted by the placements. So for Aquarius, you've got major relationship cleanup, and this is true for early, middle, and late degree Aquarius placements. It is time to get your taxes in order. It's time to get your credit score where you need it to be. It's time to stop avoiding any of the issues with credit cards or spending or budgeting. It's also time to discuss with yourself or get a plan for savings and investments, and for some people, estate planning. This is the type of thing that's looking to be cleaned up, but the fantastic news about it is that many of the factors that are layering in this month bring sweetness. Okay, so ease in this process, joy in this process, activation, expansion in this process is more likely. Anything having to do with your intimate life is another big area of Aquarius must-know cleanup at this time. If you have blocks to intimacy, unsaid or undealt with things with your partner that really need to be worked on, anything having to do with forgiveness and getting through past resentments is going to be a huge piece right now. But again, there's all of these boosts throughout the month with these nice angles here that can help make any work you've done in the past show up in a big way now, or make any efforts you make now have some really great harmony and outcomes. Another must-know for Aquarius that is a major area of this Virgo cleanup has to do with your 12th house. And the reason is, even though you've got this energy of Capricorn in the 12th house, these Virgo planets are kissing all of those Capricorn placements. Okay, so we've had this heavy hitter lineup of Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, these titans, karmic titans of the outer realms, have been moving through your 12th house, making a lot of long-term activity on topics of mental stability, spiritual breakthroughs, addictions, fears, and other ancestral patterning for better or worse, and sometimes actual ancestral things like genealogies or health-related things related to genes. And so all of this has been in motion for a long time for Aquarius, but now these Virgo planets come and kiss these placements, and you might have some breakthroughs or some insights or something very important that happens from here. But anything in those realms don't want to be ignored. They're not going to be ignored, but you do have some sweet focus for that this month. Okay, so the next thing that is a must-know for Aquarius is that we have Mars in retrograde. I've been talking about this for a while because the energy started stirring up for the pre-retrograde shadow time, which started at the end of July. So all of August was about going deeper into Mars retrograde. And if you haven't watched the August report for Aquarius, then definitely do that, because I go into a lot of details of what that transition may look like and certain things to look out for. So you might start to notice your ambitions are waning a bit, or your ambitions are becoming laser focused. There's a wonderful chance in this Mars retrograde, plus with the combination of the aspects that are occurring this month, for you to be comfortably productive. Mars retrograde doesn't mean that everything has to shut down. It can mean that you have gotten the static away from all of your areas of focus and are just focusing on the things that are flowing. And that is a very good piece of advice for you to take from now through the end of the year, even into the beginning of 2021, because with Mars in retrograde, it it doesn't work well to try to force something that's not working. So if you can do an identification of the things in your life that aren't flowing well, the efforts that you're making that aren't being met with a lot of resistance or are feeling forced, and you just stop doing those things and then see the things that are lighting up with a natural flow and you follow those things, then you might find that you're more productive than you expected. So these Mars retrograde energies can really set you up to coast, like riding a big month-long wave back to shore in a smooth, spectacular way. But the key to being able to coast is this fine-tuning process of, going with the flow and not forcing. I love, 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 love this month for vacations, staycations, playcations. I don't know what the state of the world will be in as far as travel because of COVID-related things, but if vacation is safe and allowable, this might be an open window before things get kind of intense again, October, November, December, when we have these outer planets start to come back and collide with each other as they have earlier in the year. When we have seen these planets collide with each other, these have marked the booms, and actually you would have known about this proactively, and you can still watch my video called How Astrology Explains the Coronavirus and the Systems Breaking Down, because at that time early in the year I gave you the dates of when these booms were going to occur, and now we can see retrospectively, now that half of the year is done, that when those booms happened there was this a boom in this storyline. So you can watch that to see the remaining storyline energies, but the general gist is that here in September we're at this still point. We're at a still point where we're away from the highest drama of the eclipse points in the year, and we're also away from having 2 personal planets retrograde at a time, and we're also having Jupiter and Saturn starting to move direct, but they have not yet come back in contact with, with each other, or the configurations that create these booms. So vacations could work really well here, depending on your circumstance and what's allowable in the part of the world that you're in. But it does look like it will close down energetically again, after that. But staycations and playcations are definitely on the board regardless of the circumstance. And if you can't take time off of work, or you can't, go anywhere or make any plans like that, then you can still bring the attitude of relaxation and vacation to your life. And this is something that I highly recommend as a trend from now for the rest of the year, because vacation can also be an attitude. We all know of situations, either for yourself or for other people, where someone's on vacation and they can't disconnect from their work, and they don't have a vacation attitude, and therefore they don't have a vacation experience. But you can take the vacation attitude and apply it to a situation when you still have to work and do your obligations. So some suggestions I have about this are like travel themed evenings or travel themed weekends, or something for your days off, where you unplug, disconnect from the phone. You can get, travel music or travel shows or travel cuisine or things like that, and just like reenact an experience of being away by cutting out the factors that could interfere. Another way to experience this energy of vacation is by not saying yes to projects that will involve a lot of complicated focus or a lot of attention. So if you're in the habit of just saying yes to projects and then having all these things going on, you could have this experience of vacation by just saying no to certain obligations. Now, the types of things that may come to you that you may want to say yes to would be casual and flexible projects. So let's say you have a course of study that has a flexible study arrangement where you can do it on your own time, and that's enjoyable for you. That's a big green light. If you have a course of study that has, heavy testing, stressful deadlines, if you're already in process and you have to finish it up, then, you're going to have to do it and do what you have to do. But if you're stepping into something and making a choice about something, just know that you're going to want to flow more leisurely while Mars is in retrograde, and that doesn't usually match with super tight deadlines or, things that have high ambitions or lofty goals. Okay, so the next must know is that, and I did mention this casually before, is that Jupiter is going direct. And Jupiter going direct is likely to bring more optimism, more enthusiasm, more luck, more benevolence, more flow, because this is the ruler of all these things. And that can happen in any area of your life and as a general experience. But specifically remember anything that may have started to stall out in May. If there were certain experiences in your life or certain areas of your life where in May, when Jupiter went retrograde, things started to stall out, you might notice a magical waking up in September. Sometimes you'll feel this a little bit early, the end of August, beginning of September, like it's brewing. And sometimes you'll notice to the day, that it's like, here it is, your Jupiter's on and you're back on. So this is something to look out for, and it is very exciting. Back to this idea of this still point that I referred to earlier. Jupiter has caused quite a bit of ruckus this year because of its placement in Sirius Capricorn. Jupiter is a ruler of Sagittarius, which is fun-loving and freedom-loving and adventurous. And when it's moving through Capricorn, it's very serious, it's very grouchy, and it's not as fun. It can bring a lot of material fruition, but it's not like, how we typically think of Jupiter energy. It's very much constricted compared to its usual norm. And that's really good for creating budgets, reining in expenses, getting really disciplined with things like that, money things and business things. And you may have noticed that those things are in process as well. But Jupiter clashing with Pluto, clashing with Saturn, those have created a lot of the foundation for the major changes we've experienced in the world over the last year. So now in September, it's this magic moment where Jupiter and Saturn are going direct, but they haven't yet started doing their clashing with each other in Pluto, that as will happen in October, November, and December. Okay, so it's like you have the benefits of Jupiter waking up without as much of the mischief of, what happens to it when it collides with these karmic titans, fellow karmic titans. Okay, so another must know is that we have double the challenging aspects as the sweet ones again this month. Last month in August, we had more than double the challenging aspects compared to sweet ones. And by now you may know some of how, depending on when you're watching this, you may have some idea of what that looked like. But the way that I see it, because I'm an eternal optimist, is that this is an invitation to change your viewpoint. When planets collide and it brings something from our unconscious experience out into the conscious, like it's right in front of us to deal with, it's showing us something that has likely been there all along, that has needed to be addressed but was under the surface. And a lot of times that has to do with a perspective on something. Okay, so if you have a viewpoint that is brought into your awareness from an aspect, and then you do something to change that viewpoint, you can change how you experience the aspects. And this idea of changing viewpoints is very strong in the short term, but it's a long-term theme that we've had throughout this month and that we will have for years to come as Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius. What we're doing this year, and I do go into a lot more detail about this in that coronavirus video if you search for Annie Botticelli coronavirus. But basically, because there's more to the story than just coronavirus, it's obviously a multifaceted system breakdown that is wearing the face of coronavirus, right? Okay, so what's happening now is that these outer planets have been dancing in the late degrees of Capricorn. And Capricorn has everything to do with tradition, ancient wisdom, the way that things have always been done, patriarchal viewpoints, just kind of like the masculine viewpoint of, and I'm using that term very lightly, but just kind of like from the perspective of a male-ruled world that we've had for the thousands of years since the polarity has been in that function. And now we're moving over into a different way of doing things, but we're at this precipice where things are breaking down and the new things haven't completely yet come to replace them. So there's like that void and that awkwardness of feeling things being destroyed, but not necessarily sure of what's coming next. Okay, so old viewpoints will be traded for new innovation, but the beautiful balance of the late degree cap is where we don't throw everything out that was. We really discern and go through the things that really worked, keep them, and then use the innovation in the new way to work into these old traditional, tried and true methods. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of opportunities this month because of the way the aspects are hitting that will invite you to change your viewpoint. And so you can see how you want, how that shows up for you. And the more you look for that, the more you'll see it. Another must know for this month has to do with the fact that we have 6 inconjunct or quincunx angles. Okay, so I told you we had 6 beautiful trines, these earth trines that are bringing these amazing material, positive material outcomes and bringing blessings from the prior mischief of the outer planets connecting. These trines are now bringing beautiful storylines or beautiful follow-ups or beautiful outcomes. Like for instance, let's say someone's forced into quarantine and isolation and that has been stressful, but from that a new business was born, new family dynamics have been born, new schooling processes have been born. In September we'll start to see a lot of the blessings that have come from the challenges that we've had previously in the year. We also have 6 of these awkward angles, and we did have a predominance of these same 150 degree angles in August, which is part of why I called like one of the themes of the month as, finding our footing, and like a baby giraffe just being born and having to be able to run in that awkwardness. We're still in that awkward time, and you will feel that. We're still navigating our new normal, and you will feel that. And you will notice that the energy of doubt will come up with these angles. And in my mind, doubt is a gift from the universe because it shows us the places we don't have that are super shored up, and we know what areas we need to strengthen. And all of that challenging aspects really work this way. So something that is really fun to work with anytime, but I especially like for these angles when this doubt comes up, is this Byron Katie beautiful question. Is it even true? If you're not familiar with Byron Katie, I highly recommend you look up her work, which is The Work, Byron Katie, The Work. And she has you pose this question to yourself as something challenging comes up about a belief system you have, right? We're on this theme of belief systems. Is it even true? Okay, and it might turn out that some of these things are not actually true, and the things that we worry about and base off of a viewpoint, they're not even true. These awkward angles can also come in the form of a person. Okay, so I don't know how many of you remember the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers. Okay, and he was just like all over the place and brought chaos and wreaked havoc. So sometimes angles in the sky will manifest in the form of a person that holds that type of energy. So a super chaotic person from your past or a new person may show up and illustrate some important things to you. One of these things could be you might have to clear things like that out of your life as part of your big cleanup, right? Because your relationships are very much being focused on at this time. Or it might reflect to you the places where you are awkward and all over the place and where you have to clean up your energy because you are bringing unnecessary drama to yourself and possibly others. And if you can see it as a reflection when you go to judge someone that you see that's doing this, if you hear that, the holographic words of the universe saying that energy you're seeing is also internal for you, then you may be able to clean it up. Okay, this is one of the themes of this month. It's a major cleanup. So just kind of look out for that person who brings that chaos, and maybe it's you, or maybe it reflects a part of you that needs some cleanup attention. Some very, 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 very important note is that if you believe and understand about astrology affecting us. Okay, and obviously you do, or you wouldn't be watching this and you wouldn't be this far into the video. So we know that these planets, even the close ones and even the very far ones that are still very far away from us, have very notable, measurable effects on our experience. Then think about the environment that you have closer to you. The environment closer to you is actually closer than the planets. And this month is very much about cleaning up the environmental factors around you. Clutter, chaos, systems that aren't working within your daily experience, relationship strife, dynamics in your communication, your relationship with technology, just all of these things are in your more immediate environment, and they are accentuated by the planets. But there are also things in your space closer to you that may need attention, and this is a month to do that. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about has to do with this water festival. I'm calling it a water festival. Okay, so July, August, or June, July, August, and the very beginning of September has had this flow of intense water transits and energies. We had Mercury retrograde in water, which brought a very long-term theme and confusion and a lot of emotion. We had the eclipses that were finishing off in one of the water polarities, and that brought a lot of energy. And there were other, planets moving through Cancer that brought this strong emotion. So now after the first few days, when we have this Pisces full moon, and that will be emotionally intense, that water festival ends, and we have earth and air and fire as the main highlight for a while. So that's something notable that I wanted to mention, because those water energies don't blend really well with Aquarius. So there's just sort of going to be a grand finale here at the beginning, and then a shift out of that, which will be a major relief for you. And even this full moon in Pisces, even though full moons always tend to be emotional and sometimes dramatic, and water ones tend to be more so, this aspect or this event is flanked by multiple aspects in the stars. Only one of them is challenging. The rest of them are sweet, which increases the odds of happy tears. There is a chance at every full moon, and especially when there's full moons in water, of water being where it shouldn't be. So flooding, storms, inside of your house, pipes breaking, are more likely to happen around this time. So knowing this, if you have something you need to shore up in those departments, you might want to do that, because it could prevent a problem. If you've needed to do hurricane preparedness or other storm or flooding preparedness, doing that before something like this might be helpful. Also, things like shutting off your water if you're going away, shutting off your hot water heater if you go away, where a pipe may burst and that could cause even more problems while you're away. Things like that, because these full moons in water tend to bring water where it shouldn't be, or an excess of water. So I just wanted to mention that. But back to this idea of these sweet aspects. Some of these sweet trines that I was talking about are going to concur with this full moon. So I'm hoping that there will be, quite a lot of happy, fulfilling things, not just typical kind of emotional dramas that we have. So in general, I'm really excited about Mars retrograde, as I talked about in the August report, and I'm sure I'll be mentioning as we go through each month here. Mars is retrograde in Aries, and Aries is a sign that flows well for Aquarius because they make a nice angle between them. So Mars retrograde has a chance to be even more favorable for Aquarius placements, especially if you don't force, don't push, know that any act of aggression that you make or force could boomerang back to you. And any anger or frustration that comes up, just have that, I say stop, drop, and tap. EFT is, look up EFT. It's an emotional freedom technique, tapping procedure that helps you to clear out emotions and belief systems. And so when you stop, when you notice the anger and the frustration is starting, in Mars retrograde, this can stop you from going down a long line of intensifying anger and frustration, because those are key themes of Mars retrograde. But they'll only come up if there's something that needs to be resolved, where you have to give it some focus, or if you're barking up the wrong tree. Okay, so just remember, tread lightly, flow where it's flowing. Know that these aspects can be really good things, and that even though we do technically have more challenging aspects than sweet ones this month, there are enough nice angles and there are enough things that affect Aquarius in a nice way that you could have some really sweet times. If you want to have more information, I highly recommend that you watch my Mars retrograde video and my Mars retrograde blog. The video and the blog links are below this video. If you click on the notes underneath this video, it's basically like it says more with a little arrow, and you click and then it will reveal the notes. The links will be there. If you want written horoscopes by me 1 month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. That link is also in the notes underneath this video. And there are other lifestyle blogs there, and it's just a beautiful site. You'll love it. And if you want to have a write-up of all the notable aspects, what you can expect from them, and September we have a lot of aspects. So my write-up that I do for my email group is actually quite long this month and extra detailed. So you can get that for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. You also get my 28-day virtual coaching program access for free when you sign up for my email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. You can check out my free courses at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. And you can also see my paid courses there, including my course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which is a wonderland of astrology learning that will prepare you for anything that you'd like to do with astrology, whether it's professional or just for your friends and yourself. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.